Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Today we're going to talk about updates on the van. People are asking me about the van, so today I'm going to talk about that briefly. What's going on with it, what's happening with it, and the whole 9 yards, and give you guys updates. So here we go. I had like 15 topics I want to talk about today, but coming home this morning, I was writing them down on a piece of paper, and honestly, the piece of paper in my pocket, it got soaking wet today, and so I lost that information. Isn't it amazing? Anyway, I want to talk about my little my car. I really like my car, and it is something that I want to tell you. We had a problem one time. The radiator, coming out of the radiator, it's a hose about this big. Whether it's not feeding it, and then we have at the bottom it's about 2 inches. This one up here is about 1 inch. Well, this hose here pops off, and it has one of those clamps you squeeze, and you let it open. It's a spring fed, and I need to get it what's called a C clamp, and then screw it in and out and to close it and make that better. That popped this morning on the way home. And I was probably a kilometer from the house, and it really unnerved me. I said, well, I pull off the road, and I wasn't sure if that was it. I heard the motor, I heard it clanging. We had the radio and the aircon on. Everything was running fine. But I heard this clang, and I said, what is that? What is that noise? And sure enough, that hose had popped off. It had actually, this is the second time this has done that. So we took it, Ruth and I actually took the light out, the headlight out, all the front part of the grill, and moved quite a few bolts just to get to that one piece. And it takes someone with small hands to get in there, and Ruth fixed it with her hands. I got it to the point where I got the hose back on there, and I could not get the pliers to get my hands so big that you couldn't even get in there. You have to have someone to help you with that, especially someone with smaller hands. But today I want to talk about that. The fuel on the van is doing very well. I have to tell you, we went to CDO. I had a full tank, and I came back on the full tank, and I had a little over half a tank. So I filled it up, and it took 800 peso and 14 liter. So this new way that I went, I burnt 7 liter going there and 7 liter going back. It's really good. That's really good comparing to what it normally would be. And so I have no complaints with that. The fuel, of course, as you know, you can put it, to fill that up is probably $40 to fill it up, 2,000 peso to fill it up. I'm not really quite sure how many liters it holds. I did know at one time it's only a 66 horse motor in that. That's that one motor that everybody has on these that seems to do very well. And there's readily available motors, thank goodness. I thought maybe I had a problem with my fan belt, or my fan, is what it sounded like. But being an old shade tree mechanic that I was back in the day as a kid, I realized that I said, okay, we can fix this simple task. Finding a hose, I said, may be a problem if the hose busted. So that's something that we had to look at. Now, the tires and everything's holding up on it. Tranny's fine. It does. I did check the oil. I filled up the oil in it. It had a little less. It burned out about between 1/4 and 1/2 of oil on these trips, and no oil is dripping on the ground, and no oil is going underneath the carriage or anything like that. So I have no idea where that oil is going, but it's little. Now that car only holds 3 quarts of oil, so when you change the oil in, it's only 3 quarts. And they have a special in town. I'm going to take it in town. I'm going to have them check it out completely, all underneath the carriage, and change the oil in it. And it's free labor. You just buy the oil and the filter. And you can't beat that, right? So we're going to do that soon, probably first of the month. The aircon and everything is working fine on it. I had a problem with that before, but it seems to be working properly. This time I was able to get some coolant to put in there this morning. I had a jug of coolant out there that I bought. It's expensive here for some reason. I don't know why. Antifreeze is expensive anywhere in the world. But this small quart that I bought, this quart was almost $10 for a quart of antifreeze. And I filled it up. Now this guy here coming selling fish. Crazy, huh? Of course, the mine's, like I said, it's doing really well. Tires are doing well on it. Any other complaints I have with it so far, no. I loved it because it was so easy for me to go through the mountains. And as you said, the grade is here, so you're going up. You're not like this, but you're going up a pretty good 20 grade, and it's going up fairly well. And at a complete stop on the hill. And so, because the truck stopped, why I stopped is because why they can't shift it into low. I know when I was driving the truck, I'd already had that in the second and low before I could even go up a grade. They're really great drivers here, though. I have to say they're really great drivers. Filipino are great drivers. It's just sometimes I maybe it's inexperience, but where we went was Dole Plantation, so there's only just a few trucks on the road. We saw only a total of 8 trucks on the road, where we would normally see, 1,000, not really, but it's just constant trucks on that other road going. They don't go this way because it's too high mountains and up the grades, and it's really kind of treacherous going that way because there's a lot of S-turns. You're constantly doing this. You're constantly. It will wear you out, but you get there in a fair amount of time. This is the only way to go. You gotta go to the airport, you go this way because it takes you right to the airport. Actually pulls you right to the airport. If you go this other way, it's an hour drive from here to the airport. So you can kind of see it. It brings you on the bottom side and around. I didn't know that for this time. But the van did really good. I will do that. We have a little problem with the radio that we put the antenna. And I don't know, I think maybe it might be a connection with the antenna. We're not really getting too many channels as we once were at one time. Sometimes it's always better just to leave it is as is and not worry about things. But we put that new antenna on, it's not really doing anything at all. Let's see what else is going on with that van. Other than that, it's well worth it. Would I purchase that van again? Yes. Would I buy that type van again? Yes. Now here is something I do want to say before I close this out. I had a mishap. Actually, I had some. All right, I took a left when I shouldn't have. They said there's a sign there. I did not see the sign. I got pulled over, and long story short, they let me off because they could see I was watching the GPS because my GPS was on, and they see I was making a left turn. I said, see, I did not see the sign. I said, I apologize. I said, I even stayed at the light. And they said, no, you have to make sure that these signs. And the sign, I did when we went back. It's 6 inches by 6 inches. And it's behind the pole that has the lights. There's no sign. As you know, most streets have a sign here that no left turn when you're in left-hand. But here's something that's a kicker. It had a left arrow. So be aware. When you drive in CDO, do everything you can to make sure it's right and correct.